Okay, so part one, I filmed a whole heap of bits for part one, but going back through the footage, it all looks pretty shit in the garage. So I'm leaving the bike as stock as sort of possible until after the first service and after the first ride, so we can get a decent comparison of what's what. So I'll show you what my part of the first build was. All right, so first thing, no big deal, swap the muffler for a wings muffler. We all know that just the stock muffler gets hot. You know, the bike will cop a fair flogging, so put the wings muffler on, which I took off the 690. Fitted up easy enough, just had to cut the end of the factory pipe off because they use a ball type seal where the factory muffler goes on. But the link pipe that came with the wings fitted, no dramas. The next thing I did was bigger foot pegs. Now I'll get one of the standard pegs. Now the standard pegs on any bike are shit. We all know that. So that's the standard peg. Have I got the right side? No, I've got the wrong side. Hang on. So as you can see, big difference size-wise. Fuck, there's a shadow there, so it's probably a bit hard to see now. Yeah, big difference size-wise. So I'm not a fan of, you see some people, maybe I'll go around this side. You know, people put the, you know, those pivot pegs on. I'm not a big fan because I like to, you know, get my toes on here and really push down to get the drive into the back wheel when climbing. And you know, the pivot pegs, you know, whilst they twist like that, you lose most of your drive. But that's a personal thing. So everything I've done to this bike is to suit me. It doesn't mean it's the fucking holy grail and it's correct. Everybody rides differently, hence why no bike actually comes set up from the factory to suit everybody, or actually to suit anybody. So yeah, so foot pegs, they're just the heel plates that I made for the 690 to suit on my Musco gear. That will go into another episode somewhere. So foot peg, gear lever, up 2 clicks, 2 notches on the spline so that I can get my foot under it with boots on. Now I've set the bike up for standing because I ride 90% of my time standing. So most of this, if you own a DR, none of this shit will make sense because your asses are glued to the seat. But I stand up everywhere, so I've set the bike up as though I'm standing. So foot peg up 2 clicks, come around this side, the brake pedal normally level straight across. Mine is up a little bit, same reason. I like to have it ready to go soon as I ride with the back brake a lot. And these bikes, if it's anything like the 690, the back brake was unreal. You can really slide the thing into corners. So people will comment and say get rid of the charcoal canister and all these valves and shit, which I will after it's had its first service. Alright, what else have we done? We have welded a dick onto the stand. Don't know if you can see that really. Where is it? There it is. So that you can actually lift the fucker up when you're on it. I'm vertically challenged at the best of times, and I couldn't get, you know, you can't flick the stand up, so just machined up a bolt and put that on. Alright, what else for setting up? Okay, now this is a big bone of, not contention, but personal preference. Like, none of these bikes come ready to ride from the factory. You know, you can say they do, and the salesman will tell you you can get on it and you can go. Well, you can't. They're not set up for most people. They're just a basic setup. So I change things around a fair bit. Mainly, it helps with saving energy. And at the end of the day, we're on these things for 5-6 hours a day. So if you can save energy, you can ride longer, you don't fatigue, and you can actually ride faster. Handlebar position and grip position and all that, how they send them from the factory is junk. So I'll go through how I set them up. Again, it doesn't mean it's the holy grail, but this is pretty much it. So handlebars is a big thing. People don't realize the handlebar position plays a big part. You know, you watch hard enduro guys or even the supercross guys, they're very fussy about their handlebars, and there's a reason for it. So if you were to to put in layman's terms, like handlebars back and forward rotation is like caster in a car. You roll them one way, it turns harder. You bring them back the other way, it's lazier to steer. All right, so basic, I'm trying to get around here where there's no sun's gonna fuck us up, but it's a basic rule. Okay, forks, draw a parallel line down your fork, the center of the fork. Where it comes up, see how the handlebars are underneath. Handlebars are underneath. Now, this bend, I don't know if it's showing up in the video very well, but the bend of the handlebar, you can see there. See the handlebars have rotated forwards. Yeah? So rather than being dead parallel with the fork tube, the handlebars have rotated forwards. So that will give you quicker steering. So if you're going into some single track, you think, fuck, I need the bike to turn harder, rotate the handlebars forward. If you're going, now when I'm saying forward, we're talking a degree, not so you can really notice it, and that's probably why half you don't notice there's degree markings actually on your handlebars in here. Bit hard to see, but so rotate it forward, the bike will become quicker to steer. Rotate it backwards, the bike will become lazier to steer. So if you're doing single trail, same reason. See these notches here on the forks, that's not to lower the fucking bike, that again is to change the geometry. So you have it on the bottom notch, it's going to bring the fork back, which makes it turn quicker. So you have the bike bottom notch, handlebars rolled forward, it'll become really twitchy to steer, single track weapon, because you'll be able to turn really sharp. You go into the beach, the desert, whatever, bring the forks up to the top one, rotate the handlebars back a degree from neutral, the bike will become lazier and it won't want to wander around on the sand so much. So those little things, and you know, if the bike's too twitchy for you, roll the handlebars back or lift them up, either. That'll save you energy because you're not fighting it. You know, lever position's another thing. You know, you see the old motocross days, arms up, you know, you got your handle, you know, you got your levers down here because you got this big rectangle where your arms are. Very strong in the motocross where you're going through whoops, you're going through all that shit, but fuck, it tires you out. You'll get arm pump, you'll do all kinds of things unless you ride it a hell of a lot of time. Bring the levers up, try and keep them nearly, you know, nearly level. That way, might take you a little bit to get used to it, but you'll save you a lot of energy, you won't get as much arm pump, and you will actually be able to control them a little bit better. Actually, another thing which I will touch base on, these grip puppies. If you haven't used a set, go and fucking get a set. They are, they're the cheapest mod you can do to your bike. That's amazing. I think on Amazon at the moment they're like $6 a pair. But yeah, get those. You won't know yourself. Gets rid of more vibration. Like this thing doesn't vibrate at all, but you know, the knobbies vibrate, just shit vibrates. They are worth every fucking cent. I won't ride a bike without them. Alright, so that's about all there is. You can see in the photo, in the video, that's a rack I made for this. That's a whole different video, but the 690 racks don't fit this. So I'm not sure whether the later model 690s have the same stud pattern, bolt pattern, but the earlier 690 and even the Husky, the 701, does not have this same pattern. So I had to make my own rack. But that's I'll go into in depth. Anyway, so that's stage one. I'm going to go for a ride with Chris tomorrow, and then you know, standard tires, standard suspension. So bar the exhaust, you know, it's pretty much a standard bike to ride. Yeah, I've changed things to make it comfortable, but I haven't modified it, if that makes sense. So let's see how we go tomorrow. Who knows? And then on with the next lot of mods. One last thing, people, like and subscribe to the channel, hit the notification button. We're going to do quite a few videos on this bike because there is nothing around. So those interested in it or looking to get one, keep up to date, and you'll probably see a video nearly every week on what we've done to it, how I like riding it, and the progression of where it leads to.